Chelsea Football Club are back. Last night, we finally got a glimpse of exactly what we can expect from Mauricio Pochettino's men going forward, and the fans that stayed up until the early hours of this morning to watch the game would not have been disappointed as we ran out 5-0 winners over Wrexham in America. But before we get into the video, people, this is the Joey Knight podcast where I drop content every single week on all things football and all things Chelsea. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, please do me a massive favour by hitting the subscribe button and also clicking the bell so that you get a notification every time one of my videos goes live. Anyway, let's get into it. I know that we only played a League 2 side in Wrexham last night, but I've got to be honest with you, I was really impressed. So here's the team that started the game last night, and as you can see, we did run out in the formation that many of us predicted, which is Pochettino's preferred 4-2-3-1. And as well as a few academy products, we saw the likes of Chilwell, Sterling, Gallagher, Lewis Hall, and most importantly, Christopher Nkunku come off the bench. So the first thing that I noticed upon watching the game was we were a lot more direct and just in general, a lot more free-flowing than we've seen over recent times. And obviously, this is massively encouraging because if you think of it, if we're able to play this well when we haven't got a couple of, for me, first team starters on the pitch, such as Reece James, Thiago Silva, Levi Colwill, Enzo Fernandez, it begs the question, how good are we going to look when we have got these boys on the pitch? Now, the first player that I want to talk about is Ian Maatsen. Now, anyone that's watched the channel in the past will probably know how highly I regard Ian Maatsen. He smashed it on loan in the Championship last season at Burnley, and although he was an attacking threat for them at times, you'll see that when he started for Burnley, he was pretty much always utilised in that left-back position. But last night, Pochettino surprised a lot of us by starting him at left wing, and my God, did he look dangerous. Recently, we saw that there's been interest from Premier League sides such as Nottingham Forest. Apparently, we received a bid of around £20 million from Burnley for the player. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't care if that bid is doubled. I don't care if that bid is trebled. We do not let go of this kid. The Dutch youngster linked up perfectly with new signing Nicholas Jackson, scoring 2 goals, 1 with each foot. And he has given us real optimism that we have now unearthed another young, talented player that we can all get excited about. And the second player that I want to talk about today is Cesar Casadei. The Casadei was out on loan in the Championship last season, and we've seen recently that he's been heavily linked with a move to recently relegated Leicester. However, I don't think that we should be letting this boy go out on loan. Listen, I read a few of the player ratings that were put out after the game on various different news outlets, and he was averaging about a 6 or a 7, but although I'm biased, I'd have definitely given him about an 8. He really impressed me last night. One of the most annoying things about last season is we were lacking any directness. There was a lot of sideways passing. It was like we were almost waiting for the opposition to slip up and give us a chance on a plate. So it was so refreshing last night when I was seeing Cesar Casadei take the ball, pick it up on the turn and drive it forward, beating men in the process to getting that ball up the pitch. And because of that, I'm really not sure we should be letting him go out on loan next season. Listen, from a Chelsea perspective, I think we're going to need him. From a Leicester perspective, you should be biting our hand off to take this boy on loan, because I'm telling you now, with the recent departures of Maddison's and Tielemans, this boy starts every single game he's available for you lot next year. Next to him was Andre Santos, and I'll tell you now, when it comes to these new young talents coming into the squad, we are absolutely cooking. I literally know already people are going to be telling me in the comments that I'm getting too gassed up over a pre-season game against a team that were playing non-league football last year, but maybe I am. I really don't care. I am so buzzing at what I see last night. Santos looked controlled, composed and mature beyond his years in his performance last night, and being that I don't even really think he got out of second or third gear, I'm very excited to see what we see from him this season. Christopher Nkunku, he came on in the second half, and you know what? I'll be honest, he had a fairly quiet half. He didn't see all that much of the ball, but the telling thing is, when the opportunity arose, he broke through, rounded the goalkeeper, and he took the opportunity. And whether or not he lit up the world with his performance, he didn't do anything wrong, and he did exactly what a big money signing coming in should do, which is hit in the back of the net. But the last man I want to talk about today, and it's going to make a lot of you very happy, is Nicholas Jackson. So I said a couple of videos ago that I would put Amanda Broha over Nicholas Jackson next season, and it did not go down well with a lot of you guys. So let me explain why I said that. So one of my pet peeves, right, is when a player gets picked out from relative obscurity, not many people knew him, and he's just broke into the team, and then he gets signed by a big club, and everyone thinks they're a football expert because of what they've seen on Twitter. And let's be honest, realistically, I'm not saying 1 or 2 of you haven't, but 99% of you lot watching did not know Nicholas Jackson before he broke into that Villarreal team last season. I know I didn't. I started watching him towards the back end of last season when he was banging in goals. He was being linked with top European clubs, including ourselves, and that's when I started to take notice. But the reaction I got got was a lot of people that have just watched highlights or whatever. And as I've said many, many times, anyone can look good on them. And that wasn't me doubting him. But I feel like I would be a bit of a snide if I was to say that because what I had seen on YouTube, which fair enough, was Nicholas Jackson looking very good in that Villarreal side, he should start instead of Amanda Broja, which is a player that I have actually seen and I have been excited for. But just because I've stated something in a video before, that doesn't mean I'm arrogant enough to not go back on it if my mind has changed. And my mind's probably changed. You know what? I rated Jackson last night. All right, he done what? 45 minutes against the 4th tier side. But I've got to be honest with you, Jackson looked good, didn't he? And you know what? Probably put him above Amanda Broja now. Listen, we will see how Amanda Broja comes back. He's a player that, as I say, I'm excited for. I don't think he's actually travelled out to America, has he? But I'm interested to see how he integrates into that team when he's come back. Look, he has a bad injury. But from what I've seen of Jackson, he does look really good. He was pacey. Do you know what? He had very good link-up play, which I probably wasn't expecting so much. With his back to goal, I thought he looked very, very good. And he did provide 2 assists for Ian Maatson. And they looked like they had a really good partnership, them two, in the game last night. I do obviously want to see a little bit more of what Jackson can do when the chances fall to him. But he looked unselfish, linking up players around him. And I think when you look at the wingers that we're going to have flying forward next season, that's a key trait for a number 9 at Chelsea to have, being able to bring in the players around him. What I do know is Pochettino in his time in England, both at Southampton and Spurs respectively, has always done best when he has had a strong, physical, direct number 9 in that team. And I think in Nicholas Jackson, we may well have found that number 9. So to cap it all off, I woke up very, very happy this morning at exactly what I had seen last night. Listen, people can say, look, pre-season doesn't mean anything, but anyone that thinks about how bad our season was last year, look at our pre-season last year. We got thumped by Man United in pre-season. We didn't look good in any of the games. So if you run out 5-0 winners against, yeah, all right, Wrexham, but a Wrexham side that are on the rise. I think they're one of the favourites to get promoted from League 2 next year, and we looked really, really good. Now we move on to Brighton. I'll obviously be covering that match after it happens, but yeah, I'm really optimistic now to see what happens with this side of young players. But I want to know what you lot think. Did you stay up to watch the game? If so, what players haven't I covered that you were really impressed by last night? And I want to know whether your mind has changed after last night's game, or do you just write it off as pre-season and we will see against Liverpool on the opening match day? I will be trying to reply to every single one of you lot as the videos drop. So I will be in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. And as I said in the beginning, if you haven't already, I'm smashing out content all the time from this channel now. We're ramping right up and you lot need to be there if you like this content. So subscribe, hit the bell so that you get a notification every time I go live, and follow me on my social media platforms. The link is here, there, or somewhere in the video. Either way, I will see you in the next one.